Hello, my name is Carol Bailey and I'm here to discuss with you today about horse care and its ease thereof. Perhaps many people I've had come up to me have said that it was a little too imposing to care for an animal of such stature. But it is very possible, and I'm going to show you in three essential areas how to care for a horse. Of course, there's a little bit more to it than I'm covering today in brevity in this arena, but I will provide you handouts and web addresses to discuss these other options once we begin. Here's my prop, or my friend here. Her name is Tara. She's a beautiful Trakehner horse, and I will discuss more about that part of it later. But there are three areas of care with regards to horses. There's nutrition, which is your foundational issue. There's grooming, which is an essential for bonding and really solidifying the idea, and also essential for horse care. And there's also exercise. Those are the three areas that we're going to cover today, and we're going to talk about them. As I said in brevity, information is available later. Okay. Anyway, the basic areas of nutrition for a horse. That's like if you have improper nutrition, you're going to have animals that are not only sickly, but they're also their emotional state's not right, because they're grazing animals. They need to have at least 65% of their intake be some sort of hay, brome, let's see, alfalfa, timothy, or just some ideas of hay. Some information on this can be on different hay types and what's suitable for a horse can be available at southernstates.com. I provided that information on the flyer. But anyway, 65% of the horse's intake is some sort of grass. Since we've domesticated them, and because it's winter, I'm going to go ahead and cover that as if it were that no pasture were available. So then I offer, of course, because they have a pasture option and can graze all the time, I offer free choice hay. And what that means essentially is it's in front of them all the time for an option for them to eat. They require water, also 24/7. It needs to be out in front of them as well. Now, a grain option, which can come in the forms of, oats, barley, corn, and a mixture thereof. Usually you can buy grain in a bag, and it comes with the nutritional requirements on the outside. Also available at southernstates.com or your local cooperative. For me, it's Frederick County. But you can look at those requirements and base it on your horse. So today I'm just going to talk about horses, not ponies. I'm going to talk about, she's an average size horse. So I'm going to talk about her nutritional requirements, which would be 3 quarts of grain, morning and night. So then, to just go over that again, I'm going to give her 3 quarts, which is essentially a smaller size bucket, such as the one I'm going to show you what I'm grooming. And I just put 3 quarts morning and night, and that AM, PM, and that's when I get up, before I come out, before I sit down to eat. I usually feed my horse. And then the evening time, I also feed them prior to my having dinner as well. Okay, and so then I put the hay before them all the time. Hay comes in bale form or round roll form. You can use either of your choices, but it needs to be available to them all the time. Worming is an essential. It's not really what I would say part of their daily nutritional requirements. However, it does allow for proper absorption. I have a worming chart that is available at valleyvet.com, and it also will tell you what type of wormer, and when to give it. And as I said, it's not part of their daily nutritional intake, but is proper. It's good to give them, because if they don't have a proper wormer, they're not utilizing their calories correctly. Okay, so then now we're going to talk about another area that's essential for a horse's well-being, and that's grooming. Grooming, and I'm going to give it to you in brevity because of our situation here today. We only have a couple minutes just to go over it, but I do spend about 45 minutes to an hour taking care of my horse when I groom it. You should ideally do it daily, but it's not always necessary. If you can't get out there, don't have feelings of guilt or let them overcome you because of what they might do. Okay, so then I start with a strong bristled brush to loosen any heavy debris. You can use this sort of brush, which is a heavy bristle brush, or you can use this sort, which is a rubber brush. And I just take it around and loosen any of this. And this process is called currying. Then I go through and take a lighter brush to get rid of most of the dust that I've churned up. And of course I go head to toe, and I go from top to bottom on the horse, just as you usually do yourself. But anyway, then I get off all the dirt, and I do everywhere you see. Like I said, we're handling it in brevity today, but this is just the basics. Then I start with the mane, and I brush out any tangles that might be here. I'd also like to add that doing this daily kind of gives you a mean, so that you can understand what may be going wrong. Say if she has a knot here or something's out of order, I can see her nose is running, then I can assess it better when I'm seeing them often. Then I start down at the bottom, careful to brush out any tangles that might be, or any debris that's in their tail I pick out, and then I get it all sleek from top to bottom. Also, you'll still see some blood on their feet. Again, I take that rough and get the bristles going and get all that off. And I also will pick all 4 of their feet and then brush them off. She's really helpful. I brush them off and get all the dirt on the outside. Anyway, so that's the essentials of a well-kept animal. And also, one of the things that it does do, and the most important perhaps, is it allows a bonding opportunity for you and your horse. Now, the third and one of the most essential areas too for a horse is exercise. It's important for their emotional and physical health to be turned out in a pasture. Horses are typically animals that are not kept up. Since we've domesticated them, we also have come up with different training methods in order to straighten out the errors of our keeping them up. So optimally, they need a 1 or 2 hour turnout, and that's to keep their mental health good, so that they can have time to walk around and explore and flex their muscles. Exercise in the form of your training I'm talking about is exterior to this, but they must have a daily turnout. The optimum way to keep a horse is to have them in a pasture with a run-in shed available to them, and putting them up perhaps in a stall for inclement weather. Anyway, so we've talked a little bit about, just in review, we've talked about the 3 areas of horse care. We've talked about nutrition and its importance, and it's kind of brief. There's additional information, and I would encourage you to delve into a little bit more deeply. In a USABORN guide, it's USBORNE, USABORN guide, and that's available at any local library. You can also look at the Pony Club guides for the United States. They do cover in depth quite a bit of information, and both of those books are available at your local library. As I said, this is done in brevity. That is by no means an all-inclusive situation, but the 3 areas that are the most important in horse care are nutrition, grooming, and exercise. And so, I mean, lots of people will find that it's much easier to take care of a horse than you thought. I mean, there's a lot of information available out there, and it really is wonderful having a partnership with an animal of this size. Thank you.